Yeah.
Hey, last year wasn't no battle with Langston. I beat him every race. I had a good bike. You know, I beat him last year, and I want to beat him again this year. I almost start talking crap like them guys. You know, Brown knocks me there, which kind of upset me, which motivated me to come out and beat him bad.
Turn around and stay back this week. That's all I know now is win. You know, I want to win, win, win.
Langston versus Brown for the 125 title with the addition of a record-breaking try for RC next on Speed World. The largest crowd in Steel City history has gathered to see the 125 U.S. National Motocross Championship chase come right down to the final round for the second consecutive year. Hello, everybody. Art Ekman along with David Bailey and Davey Coombs to bring you the action. Mike Brown, who the last 2 years finished behind Grant Langston in the GP World Championship Series, hopes to win his very first professional championship. While Langston, on the other hand, with a slight advantage in points, hopes to become the first non-American citizen to win the 125 crown, plus become the first ever to win the GP 125 championship and AMA 125 title in back-to-back years. The fans are also intrigued with the fact that after Ricky Carmichael won his second consecutive 250 crown at Binghamton, he's decided to try and break the tie with Mark Barnett as the winningest American 125 rider in the sport's history.
This looks like all fun and games for Chad and Ricky now that they've wrapped the 250 title. Here's Chad working on the 125, but it's going to be serious business mixing with Brown and Langston.
Davey Coombs went right to Chad for this week's Kawasaki bike setup. Davey?
They even had to change the color of the number plates because Ricky Carmichael has gone from a white plate to a black plate from the 250 class to the 125. So for this week's Kawasaki bike setup, thought we asked Chad Watts about his busy week. Chad, you switched classes.
Yeah, we figured we'd bring back some old-time stakes and some memories and end up where we started at.
Did you forget how to work on a 125, or did it all come right back to you?
I'm having flashbacks. Head gaskets are flying and pipes are coming off, jetting. I mean, they're a little finicky, but Pro Circuit gives one heck of a good bike.
You had 6 days to get ready. Was it hard?
Not really. I mean, I just took some parts actually off my 99 125 that's sitting there, and we saved from the championship. Took the rear end off of it and the front end, and refreshened it and brought it to the race.
All right, well, Chad, good luck with the record.
Thank you.
For this week's Kawasaki bike setup, Chad Watts.
Thanks, Davey, as we take a look at the Suzuki AMA Chevy Trucks Motocross starting grid. Grant Langston, Mike Brown battling it out for the points championship. One-time winner Larry Ward, along with Brock Sellers. There you see Ricky Carmichael's smiling face. Nathan Ramsey, Brandon Jessamine had a third place in this race at Delmont last year. Roderick Payne, the Frenchman, who has done very well after injury. Scott Sheik, Damon Huffman, Greg Schnell, and the rest of the 40-rider field getting ready for this 125 first moto. This has not only been one of the most competitive 125 seasons of all time, but sometimes a little bit bizarre or unusual, because we've got the two leaders who have had several races without scoring a point during the season. Let's check in at the gate now with Davey Coombs. Davey?
Well, this is it. We come down to the last afternoon of the 125 Nationals. Grant Langston, a 9-point lead. His arch rival, Mike Brown, number 100. They've been battling for the last month of this series. You see the Langstons line up right in the middle, Brown next to him. But the wildest card of all has joined this race. Number 4, Ricky Carmichael. He's going after his own shot with destiny, and that is Mark Barnett's all-time record of 125 national wins. They are tied right now. By the way, Langston had some concern about Ricky joining the class, maybe helping his friend Mike Brown. He said, Ricky, how are you going to play this after Binghamton? And Ricky said, Grant, don't worry. When I pass you, I won't even touch you.
Confident words from Ricky Carmichael as we look at the point standings. Langston with a 9-point advantage over Mike Brown. Fonseca rounding out that top 5. He could move up the ladder. Brock Sellers, Ramsey, Payne, Sheik, and Huffman Jessamine tied for 10th. But the focus right now, Grant Langston and Mike Brown running for the title. Almost a perfect day here at Delmont with a great crowd on hand to see this battle down to the wire. Who gets the jump? Moto number 1 set to get it away. Langston, a pretty good move. Brown trying to catch up there on the inside. Fonseca number 25. And Langston comes out of the corner in the lead. But Brown is right there.
This is perfect. This is what the fans want to see, a fight. They don't want to see one of these guys buried mid-pack. This is fair. I don't see Ricky anywhere near the front.
Langston, our leader, on the KTM from South Africa. The Pro Circuit Kawasaki number 100 of Mike Brown. Number 28, Nathan Ramsey, slipping into third in front of Fonseca.
Now here's something to think about. If you're Langston, do you hold off Brown if he stays that close, or do you move over and let the guy go by? Because oh, there's Carmichael. I didn't think I saw him go by.
Ricky getting together with number 990. That's Michael Byrd of Australia, who placed 9th in the Supercross final placements in the 250 ranks. Kind of odd. We've got two 250 riders riding the 125s. They get together here in the early going of the first moto. Langston looking back to check, and Michael Brown is right there.
Well, I believe why he's concerned is because Brown is aggressive, and his chances being 9 points down to win this championship are to knock Langston down, to ride a little bit dirty. It's his only chance, and when the title's on the line, you can't blame him for that.
So now he has to watch his position in every corner.
Well, if I was Langston and wasn't able to pull away, I'd move over and just ride right behind Brown. He doesn't have Carmichael to worry about now. That was a concern going in. Here's what happened. Looks like Byrne went down right in front of Ricky, had nowhere to go.
But Ricky was far back in the pack when it happened.
That's what happens when you don't get a good start. Anything that happens, the odds of getting involved in it are much greater. And Ricky found that out right there. So his chances of taking over this record from Barnett now don't look good. But to help his teammate Brown, as these guys come around to lap him, he may choose to do something like that. He's very close with Brown.
Langston in the lead. He surprised everyone, sweeping the first 4 motos of the year. He lost points, the points lead anyway, at round 4 when he suffered a third-degree shoulder separation. He missed both motos at Bud's Creek. Defending champion Pastrana then took over the lead, gaining a 44-point lead at the halfway point. He held on to that lead despite sustaining a concussion at Unadilla, but more accidents, and he was forced to exit the season at Millville. And from there, it's been Mike Brown trying to stage one of the 3 greatest comebacks in the 125 history. He's in second place now, but Langston out in front. We've got a real battle on our hands. Chevy Trucks AMA Motocross is brought to you by Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, long-lasting trucks on the road. And by Honda, the company that defines performance in motorcycles, ATVs, and scooters. Welcome back to the first Moto 125 action at Delmont, Pennsylvania, and it's just the way you like it. The 2 title contenders coming down to the final event, banging it out 1 and 2. Grant Langston. Here comes Mike Brown on the outside of the Kawasaki. Showing him a wheel or two. The fans are going nuts.
What a treat for the crowd, the huge crowd they have here, to see these guys battling for the title. They're not even looking at anybody else in the race other than Carmichael, who's working his way up fast. He's passing chunks of riders at a time.
What does that bring back great memories for these fans, as Ricky Carmichael several times during his illustrious 125 career would go down and then have a great comeback battle to be victorious.
And here's the layout at Delmont, perfect for viewing. It's in the valley. The spectators can see every portion of the racetrack. Davey Coombs now is going to take us for a ride around this section. He knows this track better than anyone.
Coming up the top, 6 steps up here. You see how tight it is today. Second turn, you go in the outskirt. Whoa! Get shut off there pretty easily. Here's you can pass one. Go inside out like that. I want to tag that guy. Never get down into the whoop section. Double through. You'll see it fast, the guys chipping and stuff out there. And in the bottom section. A lot of runs here in practice. If you had to, you could double that. If you don't want to, you got the berm right here, which I just missed. Up the other side. Little kicker. Up to a double. Take it easy. Double speed. Stop again. Look at this baby inside run. That's from the 80s earlier. Keep it on the inside. All kinds of braking bumps and ruts up there. That is gnarly.
Racer X's czar, the helmet man, Davey Coombs. You think with all the practice he's had this year on these tracks, he would have won the industry race yesterday, but Tom Carson came through.
Well, Davey beat Trevor Vines, though, and he might have won it if he didn't have to carry that extra baggage and give us those great pictures.
Let's check in with Davey Coombs now. Davey in the mechanics area.
Hey, if you guys don't think Ricky Carmichael's charging, check out some of the lines he's using. Right along the inside, pushes Mike. That's Brandis out. Can't get him. Tries again. Now watch him go through the whoops. He's doing the full supercrosser through here. That's Damon Huff in front. Nah, he didn't get it that time. Oh, and Brandis actually passes him back.
Boy, what a ride Ricky Carmichael's given the fans and himself right now. It'll be interesting to see him try to get around Brandis here.
Well, he already did it once. What a fun challenge for Brandis now to prove, hey, you can't just come in here and rule this 125 class.
Mike Brown on the off camber is awfully close now to Grant Langston.
Keeps trying that move every time to that right-hand off camber. Hasn't worked so far, but you can see he's looking for different lines everywhere. I'm telling you, if I'm Langston right here, I'm a little worried about what to do. Because if Brown gets close enough, he will get in there and rub. You don't want to go down right here. If he only had a 4 or 5 point lead, Langston, then you're thinking, okay, I better win this moto. But he's taking a risk out there, being ahead of a guy as aggressive as Brown with as much motivation as he has right now.
In your championship days, did you have a position like this?
Never quite like this. Actually, I did for the Supercross. Mark Barnett, the guy that Ricky is trying to go after for the record today in the 125 wins. He was, look at that, comes across the inside. That's what I'm talking about. See, Barnett rode a lot like Mike Brown, real aggressive, and so I decided to let Barnett by, and then he climbed all the way up into the top of the field. I almost lost the championship. See Brown cutting across the inside. If he hadn't had that little hiccup right there, he was aiming right for the side of Langston.
Oh, what excitement in the battle for first place, and we also, behind these guys, quite a ways behind, a battle for third.
Wonder if that's going to change Langston's thinking. From the mechanics area, they could see that corner, I'm pretty sure, and that may change what they put on the board, change the strategy of Langston. If he can't pull away, I wouldn't be surprised to see him let Brown go. If Brown keeps coming in and showing a wheel like that.
Because he really doesn't need the points to win as adverse to second place.
Exactly. But they're so far ahead of third now. These guys, this battle is amazing. The only guy on the track that's going anywhere near this pace is Carmichael. He's too far out of it right now to factor in.
With the battle for third between Ramsey, Fonseca, and Tane, though, that might help Ricky Carmichael's chances of moving up.
Well, this just shows the confidence that Langston has. I've seen some pretty aggressive bumping here in the last few weeks, especially at Binghamton, and it didn't really seem to bother him. Now he's got a little lead. This is where Brown had kept trying to square him off. Now Langston takes that line. So he's starting to find a little bit of a rhythm here, and he's able to open up a gap.
Here's the battle for third. It's Ramsey, Fonseca, number 25 on the inside, and Roderick Tane on the Suzuki, number 32. He's looking back to see who's in for it. RC, he's in 11th place. Hold on to your hats. Art Eckman, David Bailey, Davey Coombs bringing you the action of the 125 championship chase down to the final round. Here at Delmont, Mike Brown has to pick up points on Langston. Langston looks over to him. This is the battle for first place.
See, this is what I worried about. This is where you start thinking, maybe I ought to just let this guy go by. And he cuts right back in front of him again. Now all that's going to do is irritate Brown.
Here comes Mike Brown. Brown taking over the lead on the outside. Whoa, a nice fishtail.
Well, Langston didn't let him by there. He just made a little mistake there. But now I'm much more comfortable. If I'm anywhere in the Langston camp, I'm much more comfortable with this. See, Langston looks over at Brown, decides, okay, let me cut across, and watch how close he comes to the fence. Oh, he actually clips one of those markers there. Then here he cuts across, So Brown switches back to the outside. Now look at Langston's foot. Slips off the peg. You need that outside foot right there, so that's what caused him to kind of bobble through the berm. That's all Brown needed.
Mike Brown has been a model of toughness with a bulldog determination. It's got him back in this championship chase.
Gets a little sideways right there, but it doesn't matter. There's so much up into the middle of the bike that rear end can get sideways, and it doesn't affect him.
Here comes Carmichael, number 4. Back at a pro circuit, Kawasaki 125.
It always felt so good to get back on a 125 after riding a 250 or even in my day a 500, because you could just muscle that thing around and never let off.
He's in 5th place. Ricky Carmichael is now hounding Fonseca for 4th.
Yeah, how do you think? Oh!
He does a Superman.
That is signature Carmichael for the year 2000. This guy has done that so many times and stayed on the bike, and right there, another beautiful save. I don't know if it's beautiful or not, but it was a great save. Look at this. It's a little bit slick, not quite in the burn, does a belly flop. He had to actually let off that time. Usually he doesn't let off much. I've compared him so many times to Bob Hanna because of the great reflexes and balance to save things like that. And he goes by Fonseca right there.
Nathan Ramsey is next. So Carmichael could finish up in 3rd in this race if he keeps upright. Ramsey hits that berm perfectly, but Carmichael's right on his tail.
So how do you think it feels for Ramsey and Fonseca when they come in from this moto and realize that Carmichael came from nearly last?
Plus, he hasn't ridden a 125 in about 2 years. His last 125 race was a loss, and that was down at the Motocross des Nations in Brazil. Carmichael to the outside. Ramsey hits the berm perfect, but look at the acceleration. Carmichael moving into 3rd place in front of Nathan Ramsey.
So much corner speed at the bottom through the outside that he out-horsepowers the 4-stroke up the hill. You see the way he downsided that jump. So much body English.
A champion 16 times. It all started back in the 65cc class. We'll be right back. Steel City Raceway, Delmont, Pennsylvania, the first 125 moto, and Mike Brown, who came into this race 9 points in back of Grant Langston for the championship, took the lead and is holding Langston off.
If he can hold him off, he'll cut it to 6. Still pretty tough to overcome that in the second moto. But what impresses me is that Langston is, it looks like he is still going after this win, trying to keep the pressure on Brown, set him up for something here in the end. If he can win this moto and put another 3 points on that, just about ice it for him as far in terms of the title. Look how close.
Brown can feel him, that's for sure. Looking back there, here's the final lap.
See, he hung back. Langston hung back for a while, but here in this last lap, it looks like he's trying to go for the win.
Mike Brown is looking for his 8th moto win of the season. Here comes Langston to the inside. Puts the challenge to Brown.
See Brown look over at his inside right there. He doesn't want to leave any room.
No mistakes, just one little off-camera section here for Brown. He's going to get the checkered flag. Up the hill he goes. Brown wins the first moto. Whoa, he's turning around to say something to Grant Langston. And Langston is not one to back off.
I don't know what that's about. It looked like Brown was angry and shaking his finger. And
well, they're not kissing. We know that.
Yeah, John Ayers right there is back to us. He doesn't want to see any of that.
Mike Brown, the winner. Grant Langston in second. Ricky Carmichael all the way to 3rd. What a magnificent performance by Brown and Carmichael. Let's get the words now from Langston.
Grant, what in the world was that about the finish line?
Well, I mean, he turned around and flicked me off. I don't know why. I think he's frustrated because I put him under pressure, and I made a lot of mistakes. I didn't ride too well, and I'll just have to come out and beat him the second moto.
As it stands, you have a 6-point lead going in the second moto. A 4th place isn't good enough, but 3rd place is.
Yeah, I mean, 3rd place, it's just got to get a decent start again, keep it on 2 wheels, and you know, try to cut out those mistakes I had in that race. Probably a little tired, got a bit of arm pump, but I'm sure the next race will be more relaxed.
With the private little war you two are having, how can you keep it focused on the championship and not make it personal?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not trying to make it personal. He's the one getting upset all the time, and you know, I don't know what his problem is. I think he's just a bit of a sore loser, but you know, I'll just come out and ride better in the second moto, and you know, hopefully I'll be out in front, and I won't have to avoid racing with them.
This has the makings of one of the greatest rivalries in the sport's history. No doubt about it. A guy who might have something to say in that second moto, Ricky Carmichael, taking a third in the first moto. He's in line for the victory he wants. Let's go back to David.
Ricky, that might have been the most exciting and impressive third-place ride I've ever seen.
Thanks, Davey. It was fun. I tell you, the Pro Circuit Kawasaki is running good today. I had a misfortune over there the first lap. Michael Byrne crashed, and there was nowhere I could go, and I ran right into him. And, you know, what can I say? I can't believe I was catching those guys that quick, you know. And after not riding a 125 for a while, I was putting some serious time on them. But, you know, it was fun. I'm just disappointed I couldn't be up there. But, you know, I got to look at it on the bright side. At least Mitch Payton gave me the opportunity to do this. And, you know, I'm happy to be out there, something different.
The way it stands in the second moto, all Grant Langston needs is a third place to clinch the title. Brown winning the first moto. You can go out there and basically just ride and have all the fun you want.
Yeah, I need to get a little bit better start, and I think I can win. You know, I'm pretty confident with that. Just got to get a good start and got to watch out for those first lap hazards. You know, it's unfortunate. You know, there's so many guys out there going every which way, and you know, Michael just crashed and I ran into him. There's nowhere I could go, and you know, it's a bummer. But you know, I guess that's the way it goes. And you know, if it wasn't meant for me to be out there messing with anybody, then it wasn't.
Well, the 250s are going to miss Ricky Carmichael after wrapping up the title in the last race at Binghamton. But we've got Kevin Windham riding well, and this young man, Mike LaRocco, once again on that new Honda 4-stroke. We'll be back. Here at Delmont, Pennsylvania, Mike Brown has drawn to within 6 points of the points leader, Grant Langston, in the 125 action in the first moto.
Well, after that little altercation at the finish of the first 125 moto, we went back and reviewed the tapes. This is what we found. The final lap. This is as close as Langston got. He's been hanging back. He moved in and made that move. This is apparently what Brown was upset about. Davies with him now.
Well, Mike, we missed you at the finish line. For a guy who just won a moto, you didn't look real happy.
No, I wasn't. You know, I tried to race clean out there when I passed him. I wasn't bumping him or nothing, you know, and a last lap over there. I know it's racing and he wants to win, but, you know, I can do the same thing he does, and I ain't doing it right now. You know, I'm racing fair, and, you know, I shouldn't have got mad about that, but I did just at the time. You know, he bumped me on the last lap over pretty hard, but I know I shouldn't have been mad, but it's racing.
Just as last week, we saw you make the first move, but he struck back at the end of the first moto. Can we expect you to retaliate in the second moto?
You know, if I get a chance, I'm going to. I could have had a few chances there. You know, I stayed behind him for a couple laps there, hoping Ricky would get up. I didn't know what happened to him, and, you know, if Ricky got up to me, we could both go on, you know, and I was holding back a little bit, but, you know, yeah, Grant was riding really good. You can't take nothing away from him, and, yeah, second moto, if I get a chance, I know I'll bump him, but I ain't going to try to kill him, you know. It's just, I've had a few more bumps than he's got.
All right, Mike, I'll let you get ready for the second one.
Thanks, Davey.
Well, it looks like Mike's had some time to settle down and smile about it now, but here's a shot of the same corner earlier in the race. See Mike cutting across the inside. It looked like he was trying to do to Langston what he was worried that Langston was doing to him the last time. So not really sure why he's upset.
Well, it could be a residual effect, but Langston did get into him in the last race at Binghamton. As we take a look at the Suzuki point standings after 11 rounds, Carmichael, another dominating season, already wrapping up the title. Let's go down to the gate and Davey.
Well, with the 125 championship coming down to the final moto and Ricky Carmichael pulling into that class, the 250 race here at Steel City almost seems like a consolation race, but don't tell that to Kevin Windham. He gave Carmichael a great battle throughout the series to come up short. Carmichael, of course, clinched the championship last week in New York. Kevin wants to go out with a win now. By the way, Ryan Hughes, the American Honda factory rider, not racing today. He suffered another concussion. He is not in the moto. That leaves it up to number 11, Ezra Lusk, to take it up for Team Honda, and number 5, Mike LaRocco, who will be riding the CRF450R.
Let's take a look at the Suzuki starting lineup with Windham, Tim Ferry on the 4-stroke Yamaha, Mike LaRocco on a 4-stroke and that is a Honda. Vuillemin, John Dowd headed toward Privateer of the Year honors in the 250 ranks. Carmichael going to the 125s. Well, two-time 125 outdoor champion Steve Lamson is going to be on a 250 here for the final race of the year on the Husqvarna. Here's the rest of the 40-rider field in our first 250 moto of the day. The veteran privateer Barry Karsten once again.
It is a weird feel at the gate for these guys because the top guy, the guy that's been so dominant, who already wrapped this up, has moved into the 125 class. So in a sense, even if they win today, whoever's able to step up, most likely Kevin Windham, is going to be a little bit of an empty victory.
Except the victory is a victory. The record books as the 32nd board is sideways. We're ready to go for the first moto from Delmont, Pennsylvania for the 250s.
John Dowd on the KTM with a great start. He's going to the outside. John Sebastien number 41 on the Honda. And Kevin Windham.
Kevin Windham was in third as we look back at the field. Windham now has already moved into second place. Carpenter has moved into fourth in the KTM, and Windham makes the pass on Waz. Waz got caught up and cased it just a little bit. Kevin Windham now trying to ease away from John Dowd. Ezra Lusk with more bad luck on the Honda.
That's the second corner right there, the off-camber, so now he'll start from last, but Kevin looking great right here. There's Alley, like we see so far.
Windham has not finished worse than sixth in any race this year, and that lone time came as a result of a broken chain in the final moto.
This has been a really solid season for Windham outdoors. Picked up the momentum at the end of the Supercross season, but look at him here. Following Waugh, 41. Watch, Waugh's going to come up a little short. Needed a triple into there. Comes up a little short, so Windham gets out of there, skate free, but look at the ground that Waugh lost. He went from first to third with that one mistake.
And already Kevin Windham is pulling quite a lead on John Dowd, number 16, and Carpenter.
KTM's happy.
The finest start for Carpenter in a while. And you can hear the four-stroke action, that's for sure.
Lamson with a pretty good start. You got 3 European manufacturers right there in the top 5.
We're off and running with a clean start. Kevin Windham, our leader. Back at Delmont, Pennsylvania, the 250s, Mike LaRocco has made his way up and has passed John Dowd for second place.
This is unusual for LaRocco. Usually he takes a lap and a half or so to settle in. He didn't take any time here. Worked his way around everybody into second.
With Carmichael missing, this could be a chance for his 12th career win. Mike LaRocco. That's only in the 250 class.
Now, if he can stay in second, catching Windham's going to be tough. He's already got a huge lead, but he's in position for the overall. But all these guys are really battling for a chance to win here today with Carmichael out of it.
Here comes Ferry on Vuillemin, makes the pass on David Vuillemin. Two Team Yamaha riders going at it at the time. And now he's taken on John Dowd with a vengeance, it looks like. Ferry to the inside, number 15 on the Yamaha. He makes the pass on Dowd, and Vuillemin now makes Dowd a Yamaha sandwich. Tim Ferry, my leading candidate for most improved rider this year, got his first 250 win in the opener at Glen Helen. We visited his Dade City home.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for coming down to Florida, checking out my house. Come on inside, just one rule, no shoes in the house. We got the track outside, and my wife will be here cleaning all day. Got to keep it clean. Come on inside, check it out. Just moved to Dade City about a year and a half ago. Just built this house. I had a friend of mine that's a contractor, friend Charles, and my wife, and me to sit down, started just writing down some pictures of what we wanted and some drawings, and he drew up the plans, and here it is. This is my brother, Travis. He's here from out of town. And this is my mom and dad. They live down in West Palm Beach, and he got out of school, and he flew up on last Friday, so he's been here for about a week. He likes to hang out because my parents aren't here, and he gets to do whatever he wants pretty much here. Over here, we got a picture of us. Right before we got married, we just went out and did some photos, for our photo album for our wedding. And that's us down at the beach by our old house. We're on about 40 acres now. We're kind of out in the country, 100 yards out of my garage. We got a supercross track, outdoor track. This is my office. This is my wife, Evie. We've been married about 3.5 years now. It's going by pretty fast. This is her little domain where she hangs out and does all of our airline tickets for the whole year and our rental cars and all of our expense reports and all that kind of stuff. And actually, over here, I got a fax that Yamaha had sent me from Japan to send to me, I guess. Congratulating me on the race. So that was pretty cool. Just got a few pictures around. Got Evie's horse that threw her on the ground. She got hurt. A picture of me and Molly. On the computer, I got this, Tim Ferry website is ready to come out again. Here I got the championship from one plate. And I go over here, I got the first round of Glen Helen. I think that's one of my favorite trophies. And this is my bedroom, my bed. This is where I do all my sleep in, and actually a really comfortable bed. I can sleep here for 12 hours, which I do a lot of times after the nationals and stuff. Molly, she's not actually allowed on the bed, but we'll let it happen for right now. This is the kitchen. We got the breakfast nook over here. We just got all the new furniture last week. Other than that,
You forgot to show them this.
okay. Did you put this out?
Mm-hmm.
This is a pottery thing that we went and did one day. It really was raining outside, and we had nothing else to do, so she talked me into going and paint pottery. This is an embarrassing piece for me, but one embarrassing thing I guess will be all right. Up here we got kind of like the game room. We got the pool table. Some friends of ours gave us the pool table, and all we had to do was get it refelted, and it turned out pretty good. This is my gym. Check it out. I got the radio. Gotta have a radio in the gym. Come in here. Friend Tony Haynes, he got his new CD out. It's all wrapped. I got a bicycle. I can come in here, ride this if it's raining outside. And over here I got this universal piece. I can pretty much do anything I need to do on this one machine. All the dumbbells, flat bench. Got my speed bag. Not that good on it. I ain't gonna embarrass myself. And I can hang my heavy bag from here. I got my TV so I can go on some Jerry Springer. Or I got this piece over here where I won something kind of to motivate me. I won in '97 championship to East. All right, this is about it. This is the garage. This is where I keep my bikes, keep all my riding gear. I got all my helmets, that I race with now. Some of my old ones that I had, throughout the whole pro career, about 10 years. This is Dozer. He looks mean. He's not too bad. He lives in the garage. And he's happy as long as he's in here. And this is my good bike. This is one I always do all the, my supercross and motocross riding on. This is my bike I go trail riding on. I got my BMX bikes over here. Got my mountain bike there. Hope you guys enjoy my house. See you at the races, and come swing by the Yamaha truck and I'll give you an autograph. We'll see you there. Thanks.
Chevy Trucks AMA Motocross is brought to you by Yamaha, makers of fine motorcycles and ATVs. Nobody's more in tune with motorsports than Yamaha. Welcome back to the action now as Kevin Windham. Let's take a look at this guy who's out in front and why.
Well, it's not that he hasn't been able to beat Carmichael during the year, because he has, but part of the reason he's way out front like this is because he doesn't have that number 4 bearing down on him or chase. But he sees this as an opportunity to really tune up for the MXDN Nations coming up and to pick up another national win. But it will be a little hollow, and we got his opinion on that earlier.
It's disappointing, for him not to be riding this weekend. No matter who wins, you gotta contend with the fact that the national champion wasn't in there. But I think it's a shame for all the way around. I think if he wants to break his record, he needs to come back and do it next year or a whole another year and ride the whole season or whatever. I don't believe, in my opinion, that now's the time for him to be jumping in trying to win a race when there's such a close title chase going on between Mike Brown, which is a longtime friend of Ricky, and Grant Langston, who probably don't even know Ricky, So it's kind of one of those deals that, from the outside looking in, I don't believe the AMA should allow him to do it, and I think it's a shame.
What do you think, David?
Well, you can't fault Ricky for wanting to go after the record and wanting to help his teammate, but I have a problem with it for a couple of reasons. One is that it's interference, and I had a problem with trying to interfere with the outcome of some other series when I was racing. Also, from Langston and Brown's standpoint, you also got Ricky coming into the class thinking he's going to get this record, and it could be viewed perhaps as a little bit condescending, like you can just go in there and that's a gimme. And it's not going to be as easy as you think. Those guys are fast.
Right now, we've got a battle of 4 strokes underway. Tim Ferry behind Mike LaRocco. Second and third right now. LaRocco on the CR450F and Ferry on the YZ426F.
And I can't wait to see how this pans out, because both these guys come through the pack. They both finish the race strong. They both have similar motorcycles.
Ferry putting a 4-stroke on the top step for the first time since Jimmy Button did back in 1999. Well, the battle ensues. Let's go down to the mechanics area.
Well, Brian, in this battle of the 4-strokes, Mike LaRocco has proven to be a little stubborn.
Yeah, we got a bad start. Got stuck behind a lot of traffic. We're coming through the pack, but we got behind LaRocco, man. It's just been a battle.
Windham, in the meantime, is checked out, but still, in a race like this, second's as good as the first. You got to get LaRocco if you want to shot the overall.
Yeah, we definitely need to pass LaRocco, but Windham's about 2 seconds less slower than these two guys, so we'll have to see how it turns out.
Mike LaRocco, what's a good thing for him is not a good thing for Ryan Hughes, crashing earlier. But Mike LaRocco has taken to this 4-stroke real well. I'm concerned about Ryan Hughes, though, the fact that he had maybe an outdoor opportunity with Jeremy McGrath's team for next year.
There has been some talk about that, to have an outdoor rider for Jeremy's team, and Ryan would be on a 250 Yamaha. And you know, of course, Jeremy's a great friend of Ryan, so it looked like a good match. But it's really in question now. I mean, the crash that he had here yesterday in practice was bad, and you know, most of Ryan's crashes are, but this one was serious. He was really scared when he got up, and yeah, I mean, he's got not just bumps and bruises. He really dinged himself hard, but the scary part is another concussion. You know, and if you go back to the U.S. Open last year and you look at the concussion he suffered there, he's had 4 or 5 in the middle, and then this one. So whether his doctor's even going to allow him to race anymore is a big question right now.
Well, our hopes are out for him. That's for sure. Is Mike LaRocco leading Tim Ferry here? Another Honda rider that's not in the lineup is Sebastien Tortelli after that vicious crash at Binghamton. His next race is expected to be for Team France at the Motocross of the Nations.
Well, his injury is, he's not even here today. He's got blurred vision. That impact he had at Binghamton was so sudden that it's a question whether he's going to ride at the MXDN Nations too. So it's been a really weird year as far as guys hitting their head, concussions. And I really don't know what to make of it. I mean, the helmets are good. I don't see a problem there. If anything, the tracks, it looks like this year, are faster. Everybody's getting faster. The pace is more intense. So when these guys go down, they go down real quick.
Out in front, number 14 on the Suzuki, Kevin Windham. He's already been named to the Motocross of the Nations team. Team manager is his team boss, Roger DeCosta.
Everything going right here for Kevin today. He got a good clean start. He's able to work his way into position to take advantage of Waz's mistake through that first section of whoops. And leading ever since. I haven't seen a mistake yet.
It's fun watching his smooth style. Windham, LaRocco, and Ferry, our top 3. We'll be right back.
After 9 Pacific on ESPN.
Delmont, Pennsylvania, final round of the year, 250s, first moto. Kevin Windham is our leader, but these two guys banging it out for second right now. Tim Ferry trying to show a wheel to Mike LaRocco.
I told you this would be good. These guys are both tough. They both will get physical if they have to. They both finish strong, and so far, LaRocco has been able to hold Ferry back there.
Both riders with contracts signed for next year already. LaRocco staying with Honda, of course, and his Amsoil Dr. Martin's Honda. And Tim Ferry once again with Team Yamaha. Ferry has finished the season strong.
He has. You know, these guys both have the motivation. Ferry, oh! Ouch. Well, now you know we've been working together too long, saying the same things. I was starting to say that these guys have a lot of motivation. Ferry started the season with a win. We'd love to end it with a win, and LaRocco is trying to get a win on that 4-stroke and end the season on a high note.
Here's the interval from Windham, number 14 going by, and second place and third.
These guys coming down in that corner hot. LaRocco going wide, right back on the power, and these guys have plenty of power. Look at Ferry coming on the outside. These guys have got different lines. Ferry's trying something a little different everywhere. He has to for a couple of reasons, to try to create an opportunity and to stay out of that roost. He's also got his looks like his roll-off system's flapping in the breeze. That's got to be a little bit of a distraction, but maybe not in this final lap. He is so focused. Watch LaRocco here. This was that mistake earlier. See his leg right here? He just kind of dangles it. Compared to Windham, it's not up as high, and that's the price to pay. Occasionally, I've broken my foot like that. Carmichael, his leg's not long enough to go down there and hit the ground like that.
LaRocco in second, Ferry in third. This has been the battle of the race after Windham took over first place and pretty much took away with it. Roncada, Vuillemin still fourth and fifth, as you see on our field summary, and Windham right now is approaching the checkered flag on the final lap. There it is, cruises across the finish line, turns back to see where LaRocco and Ferry will finish up. That's his fourth moto win of the year. The last time he won a first moto, he swept at Washougal, catching Ricky twice. Windham, LaRocco, Ferry, Roncada, and Vuillemin are top five. Steve Lamson doing a good job on the 250. Clark Stiles, his first top 10.
Well, Kevin, that looked like a pretty boring race.
Well, I tried to open it up really quick, and I was able to do that. And, you know, I think those guys are probably pretty motivated now. They had a good race there for second and third. And, you know, I was watching them. I was watching the race, and I didn't want to let them get too close to me. But, you know, this track's pretty tricky today, and I was just wanting to, you know, pick my way through the lappers as smoothly as I could and try to secure that number one position.
I don't know if you're superstitious or not, but this is the first time I've seen you wear black gear. It's been lucky for you.
Yeah, this is hey, I always hear that No Fear is going out of business, but this is their official 2002 line, and you know, it looks like I'm going to be back with them again next year. So I don't think they're going out of business just yet. But all my sponsors really have done a good job for me. Suzuki, 1-800 Collect, No Fear, Rye Helmet, Scott Goggles, Cornwall Tools, and Alpine Star Boots.
Kevin, how stoked would you be to leave this season with a winning note, another moto win?
Oh, it would be great. You know, that's really my goal right now, is to leave out here with a moto win, no matter who's in the class. You know, you can only race who came to race the 250 class. So hopefully I can go out being the best 250 rider of the last race.
Mike LaRocco was able to hold off Tim Ferry for second place. LaRocco has been a model of consistency this year, as he normally is, and he's with our Davey Coombs right now.
Well, Mike, as these races go on, you seem to get more and more comfortable on the four-stroke.
Yeah, this thing it's fun to ride. I just wish I had a little bit more time to get used to it and, you know, actually figure out how to hang on to it until the first turn. The thing is awesome. So it's fun. I'm trying to get the thing up front, and, you know, my AMSOIL 450F worked good. I just got to learn how to ride it.
I know Tim Ferry rode the four-stroke all year long, and that moto, he was behind you the whole time. You have to feel good about basically being the fastest four-stroker out there.
Yeah, Timmy was all over me, but I felt comfortable out there. I made some mistakes on the last lap because I guess I was rusty up there. But, you know, my 450 worked awesome, and we'll just hopefully keep improving.
Can you get after Windham in the second moto?
Yeah, I know he was on cruise control out there, but if I can hang on to the thing going to the first turn, I think I can give him a run for it.
We turn our attention next to the 125 championship chase. Mike Brown, number 100. This is how the first moto finished, with Grant Langston right on his tail. Brown taking over the lead. Langston hanging close, and then the two got into each other's face. What a rivalry. It's all coming up next in our second moto, as Brown now starting to prepare at the gate. Langston's already on his bike, trying to look relaxed. And then you add Ricky Carmichael into the mix. Coming up next. Welcome back as the scene is set for a great second moto here with the 125 action. A record crowd on hand at Delmont, Pennsylvania, for the matchup between Langston and Brown. Davey?
Well, guys, down the starting gate, as we saw at the end of the first moto, tempers a little high between number 100 Mike Brown, number 111 Grant Langston. Remember, Langston only needs a third if Brown wins. By the way, Brown actually fell on the parade lap, as if there's not enough emotions on the line. He falls over, gets himself muddy. This last one ought to be a doozy.
Mike Brown has had to come from behind all season long. Grant Langston 6 points ahead, needs to finish third or better to win that championship. Mike Brown's going to need some help if he's going to pull off the third greatest comeback in 125 history after being down 59 points at the midway point of the season.
You know what happened with Brown during that parade lap? He went out there and was running the track at speed, ended up going down. So definitely got his heart rate up where it needs to be to start this race.
Fonseca and Ramsey between the two contenders. Brown you see there and Langston right under us. Don't forget Ricky Carmichael could play a part in who wins the championship here today. He's also on that 125. Board sideways. We're off and running for a championship.
Langston tried to cut over to the left. I think he was a little bit off balance.
It's Boniface. Steve Boniface, 5:31. The Frenchman is out in front.
A lot better start for Carmichael this time.
A great start for Carmichael, but Brown and Langston, where are they? Looks like Brown's about in 5th or 6th position as Boniface tries to pull away.
Now Carmichael's in a position to take the overall win and get the record, also in a position to affect the outcome, should he choose, of this national championship.
Way in 3rd, there's Brown. And there's Langston finally. Langston's got a couple of riders to get through to get back up to Brown. Oh, this could be an interesting championship finale. Now Carmichael's starting to put pressure on Boniface right away.
Boniface is going to feel more heat than he's ever felt in his life. If Carmichael was faster than Langston and Brown out front, you can imagine how much faster he's capable of going than Boniface here.
Boniface, his best finish of the year, a couple of 9th place finishes. Brown goes down. Whoa, that changes the complexion.
That could be it right there. Already 6 points down. And Langston is up front. Brown's probably about mid-pack, I'd guess, right there. By the time he got going, he lost a lot of ground.
All right, can you imagine being in front of Brown right now? Oh, look out.
Well, you know, you can look at this like, okay, he's got nothing to lose now. Steve Payton, those guys are concerned. I don't think they could see that from the mechanics area, but this goes back to when Barnett almost beat me in the championship in the Supercross. He had nothing to lose with a bad start. He actually went down in the first corner, came from last to second. Only won the championship by a couple points. So Brown could come from way back, ride like a madman, and maybe even do a little rubbing on Langston. He seemed to have enough motivation after that first moto.
Boniface now very concerned about Ricky Carmichael. Gives him lots of room. Carmichael kind of, whoa. Now, Ricky, was that necessary?
Look at that. He almost jumps that whole plateau.
A block pass by Carmichael, then a great leap, and Ricky Carmichael is on his way to possibly winning the overall and becoming the all-time winningest 125 rider. Currently tied with 25 wins with Mark Barnett on the all-time career list for 125 motocross. The first lap completed. Carmichael, Boniface, and now you see the gap between second and third.
Here's Ricky, set this up by staying about 3 feet lower over that plateau. But the block pass on Boniface pretty much got the pass made. All he really needed to do was take the main line, but instead he takes him clear out to the tractor. But that's what Ricky does. He rides aggressive. Maybe he didn't like the way Boniface is holding him off. And right there he sent him a message, and now he's got the lead, and I don't see any way that anybody's going to catch him.
The battle for third, Pingree, Ramsey, and then Grant Langston.
This is a gift for Langston. All he's got to do is just stay on the bike. Even the further back in the pack they are, the better, because the point increments from first to second are 3, then it's 2 for a few spots, and then it's only 1. So he's got a 6-point lead. He should feel pretty safe right now.
3 or 4 riders and still no Brown. Davey?
Steve, what happened to Mike over there?
I missed it, Davey, but I heard on the radio that Nick Way got a little bit sideways out of the corner, and he took Mike's front wheel from underneath him, and we just went down. But, you know, hopefully we can get back in there. I mean, Grant's fair way back as well, and we just need to try and get it in front as quick as possible.
I noticed you got a little help that lap from an old GP competitor, Scott Sheik. He pulled over and gave Mike a wide berth.
I didn't really notice that, Davey.
This really complicates the formula for a championship.
You got a lot of things going on. You know, Ricky's out front. He's not going to affect anything except possibly beating Mark Barnett's all-time record. But, yeah, the rest of these guys are scattered. Langston, he just has to ride pretty smart. He's got teammates out there to surround him. Brown is coming up from the back. You got some guys letting guys by. It's a weird moto right now, and I'm not sure how this is going to play out, but if you're Langston, you got to feel pretty comfortable.
Here comes Langston. He wants to make a move anyway. He's got Pingree, a teammate, in front of Ramsey.
Look at Langston really using the whole track, try to create a line to get around. I don't think he'll have too much trouble getting around Pingree. Then again, Pingree might not realize that's him back there, trying to hold off Ramsey, and all of a sudden it'll be Langston if he can make his move.
The rumor is Pingree is signed for Supercross with KTM, but so far no motocross. And there you have Ramsey getting by Pingree, and he's got Grant Langston right behind him.
Well, Pingree just didn't get around that corner quick enough before the big plateau, lost 2 spots.
So an interesting battle ensues for the 125s here at Moto 2. We'll be back. The Chevy Trucks AMA Motocross Series is brought to you by Suzuki, maker of innovative motorcycles and ATVs. Art Ekman, David Bailey, Davey Combs from Steel City Raceway in Delmont, Pennsylvania. The second and deciding moto, not only for who wins Delmont, but who wins the National AMA Motocross 125 Championship.
Look at the way Langston is attacking Ramsey here, and you wonder, like, geez, why does he got to try so hard to take these chances right now with Brown back in the pack? Well, you take more of a chance by staying here and riding carefully with Brown coming through the pack like a madman. The more positions he can pick off, the harder he's going to make the job for Brown.
Shows a wheel on the inside to Nathan Ramsey in third. Whoa!
Yeah, Langston's pushing hard. I mean, he lost the front end right there, and that could have been a crash, but you can't worry about every little thing. He's trying to ride aggressive to get around into third. Looks like he's got it. He's got to go all the way to the outside, but he's looking for points and to try to make the job tougher for Brown to get up and have any kind of a chance at this championship.
The key to his success this year, 4 straight moto wins at the beginning of the season, and then after getting that shoulder problem and missing a race, he was able to come back and retake the points lead with 4 straight moto wins in the last 2 races.
Look at this pass again. He gets by Ramsey, and he's coming on the inside. He's coming in so hot. There's no way he can get to that inside berm. He hits that break and bump, goes wide, takes Ramsey wide. And I think Ramsey understands what happened right there. He's not looking at that as dirty riding. And now Langston's got the spot. That's one more rider that Brown's going to have to pass.
Here comes Brown. Just as you mentioned it, he's taking on Brock Sellards on the KTM. Brown, bang. I know you work for KTM, Brock. I got to give you a little extra push there.
Yeah, he's not messing around with the KTM riders, but anybody for that matter. See how high he has his leg. We saw LaRocco get his stuck in the ground. You're not going to see that happen to Brown. Those were deep ruts. He came in there with a lot more speed than usual and lifted his leg really high. Now watch what he does to Brock Sellards right here. He's going to do this to everybody because he's got a championship on the line. But as soon as he landed, he didn't waste time. He got in there with a little extra acceleration, looked over at Brock like, sorry, but I got to do what I got to do.
That's been a great season, though, for Mike Brown, even if he doesn't win the championship and come back on Grant Langston. The season looked like it was over for the Pro Circuit rider earlier in the year. After in that second race, he hurt his shoulder at the Hangtown Classic, didn't score a point. But he has just put his head down and just barreled back into the championship race. He's got Fonseca, number 25, in front of him.
These guys have had some run-ins.
Boy, haven't they? A couple of races in a row, Brown showed no mercy.
Yeah, you know, it seemed like Brown was just running right through Fonseca and being the bully. And when Fonseca tried to get him back at Troy, Brown made friends with him. So it was like, you know, he hit Fonseca 3 times. Fonseca hit him once, and Brown was like patching that all up, going, all right, now we're even. So it'll be interesting to see what they do.
Fonseca just goes wide, and Brownie has the root.
Well, I couldn't have guessed that. It looked like Fonseca waved him by, as a matter of fact. So maybe it's the end of the season, and he just doesn't want to start anything. You know, it's hard to get involved in a championship. And Fonseca's not the only guy I've noticed that has made it a little easier for Brown to get around. Same for Langston in the first moto. Watch this again. See if he does wave. Yeah, he does. It
looked like that left hand was out there waving him on.
So that was a smart move. psychologically on Brown's part back in Troy by kind of making friends with all that, going, hey, that's just racing. I expect him to get in there and give me a bump once in a while and rest his water under the bridge. And you know what? That really came back to be to his advantage right now.
Mike Brown, after going down here in the second moto, trying to get back into contention and put the heat, at least, on Langston.
You know, we went back and watched Carmichael coming through the pack in the first moto, and you can see the intensity, how fast he was going. That's what Brown looks like right now.
Boy, this track is looking gnarly.
It doesn't look gnarly to Brown. It just looks like he wished this moto was going to be an hour long so he'd have time to catch up.
Brown versus Ramsey. Ramsey, Yamaha of Troy.
Look at that. Out horsepowers the four-stroke up that hill through the doubles.
Not even a chance to say bar to bar. He just blew right by him.
His lap times have got to be very close to what Carmichael's turning out front. A lot faster than Langston, that's for sure. These guys might get together yet. Coming out of the inside of that corner, he had no run coming out of the corner. It wasn't like it was corner speed that led to that. It was just, he willed his way past. Right back on the power there, already pulling away, setting himself up on the outside for the next corner so he could square that. Brown is on right now. He's got nothing to lose.
Here's Boniface, still holding up well in second place. Carmichael was checked out.
I've been taking my son riding out at Elsinore in California and seeing Boniface out there, and the guy's fast. You know, there's a lot of amateurs out there that watch Boniface come by and just think, man, if that guy's that fast and he can't win a national, I'm never going to be any good. But you know what? He doesn't ride that fast at most of the nationals. But here in this moto, he is. He's riding up to his potential.
Steve getting a good break with Mike LaRocco's Amsoil Dr. Martin's Honda. And next year signed with KTM. KTM certainly has shown that they're a contender. Ricky Carmichael, though, leads this one with Grant Langston hoping to nail down a championship. Steel City, Art Ekman, David Bailey, Davey Coombs, as Grant Langston now trying to make a move for second place on Boniface and just blows right by him. Boniface left the door open.
He wasn't really sure how to counter the aggression and all the pressure he was feeling from Langston. He was looking around in the corner before, but he just guessed wrong. Langston can feel Brown catching up now, so he realizes he needs to get by, get into second, and start chasing Ricky. Keep Brown off his tail.
If he thought there was pressure with Langston, but just wait till Brown gets up there. Oh, Boniface looked like he went off the track right there, and Brown has an easy pass of it. That sets up a confrontation between rivals. Langston in second place. Ricky Carmichael's way out in front in first, but Mike Brown is going to do everything he can to get up there and rub a little plastic.
I think that's what you can expect to see. No, Brown
goes down, but keeps the bike going. Boniface can't pass him. Well, now he has the inside route, but Brown back into third place now.
That's going to give it a little gap to Langston now, but I still believe Brown has the speed to catch Langston. He's caught him from way back in the pack. Langston has that wake-up call, and we've seen before he was able to do it at the last round of Binghamton, able to pick up his pace partway into the moto, respond to the pace of Brown. This is heading into the left-hander at the top of the hill. Watch Brown right here. He just leans into that berm a little too soon. And look at the crowd react. They can sense a real battle here. A great recovery by Brown to get back up so quick and preserve that spot, have a shot at Langston. I would expect he's going to get up there and catch him, and he's got the motivation. We saw how angry he was the first moto. If there's going to be any bumping, it's going to happen now.
Here's Ricky Carmichael, our leader. For 5 consecutive years, Ricky has won at least 7 national events. He's looking for his 8th this season here today. It would give him 22 total wins on the year, counting Supercross. One more than that mighty McGrath did back in 1996. As you pointed out earlier before we went on the air, though, David, he had one more race to do it in, but still a great record. For our Suzuki flashback, Delmont has been a special place for Suzuki in recent years. In 1999, Greg Albertine took his 3rd win of the year at the Pennsylvania track. The victory gave the South African 29 points, edging out Kevin Windham for the AMA Motocross National title. Last year, Suzuki's rookie rider Travis Pastrana took a 4th win in a row. Pastrana's win at Delmont proved an upset as he beat Stephane Roncada for the title by a mere 2 points. Back to our action right now from Delmont. Look at Ricky Carmichael looking around now. He's got a big lead.
He's been looking around a lot, but there's no question he's going to win this moto if he chooses to stay up front. I think he may be looking back, wondering what's going on back there behind him. We heard Kevin Windham talking about he was watching the battle behind him between Ferry and LaRocco. Carmichael's doing the same here with Brown and Langston, because it'll affect his outcome, whether he wins this overall or not, gets the record.
Will he get the record? Will Brown get the championship, or will Langston? We'll be right back. Time running down, and Grant Langston in 2nd place behind Ricky Carmichael has Mike Brown right behind him. Langston with a 6-point lead for the championship. Can he hold him off? Still, Mike Brown would need some help. That's the interesting question.
Yeah, even if Brown is able to get around and Carmichael was to slow down for some reason and put himself between those guys, that would only be 5 points, I'm pretty sure, and still Langston would have the championship by a point. So he needs a lot of help.
Still is a battle going on, and there is a question whether Mike Brown would leave Grant Langston upright.
Well, Grant's looking around. He's looking at the back wheel, though. Kind of wobbly looking. That looks like maybe...
Whoa, Brown makes a pass, and Grant Langston did not make a mistake there. He just slowed down.
I thought he had mud on one side of the tire. Sometimes it looks funny, but something doesn't look right there. He looked at the rear wheel.
Is it a flat? Mike Brown moves into 2nd place. Oh, my goodness. And he's really picking up big time on Grant Langston. Something's wrong with Langston's bike. Davey, what do you think down there from the mechanics area?
Guys, you're not going to believe this. Just when you thought they're getting more closer, Grant Langston came through the mechanics area. Flat tire. The tire's still on the rim, but he is losing time quickly. The way it stands right now, he's got to get back to 5th for Brown to win this championship. Jessamyn's coming. Let's see what Carmichael does now.
That's a good point, and we'll see if we get a good look. We got a good shot of the wheel now, and it doesn't look like the tire's flat. That wheel is destroyed. Oh, you know what? He's not going to be able to finish this moto. That thing's coming apart. You see him trying to just take it easy over those jumps. There goes Jessamyn, so that puts him back to 4th.
Oh, this has got to be a heartbreaking situation right now.
This is the championship, Art. That wheel's coming apart, and as those spokes break, eventually he will have a flat tire. I'd be wondering if he jumps this, he's not going to do it. He doesn't go for the double jump. He can feel something wrong. He's known it for half a lap now. I've broken wheels before, and as soon as he starts to feel it, you only get a couple of laps. Let's go back again now to Davey Coons.
Check it out. Mitch Payton and Chad Watts having an impromptu conference. There is 3 laps to go. Langston needs to do worse than 5th. As long as Carmichael wins, we will see what comes out on the boards this time around. Unbelievable turn of events.
Mike Brown in 2nd place, David, not only puts him in line for the championship, but it would take the record away from Ricky Carmichael because he gets the overall.
Yeah, 1st in the first moto, a 2nd here. 2-1 beats a 3-1. So Carmichael has done all he can do to win the moto, but it's not going to be enough for the overall. Look at Brown right there. Fist pump in the air. He knows he's got this championship starting to sink in now.
It would be his first professional championship ever. Finishing behind Grant Langston, you might remember, in the GP World Championships in the last 2 years. Grant winning that title last year. Mike Brown, with 5 overall victories on the series, came in 3rd.
This makes up for all of that. Wheeling up the hill. He feels so good right now. Earlier in the day, you could see the frustration. He felt like he'd done all he could do, and he had lost it. Last weekend, a real heartbreak, having both motos within his grasp and losing them both, losing 6 valuable points, and he gets it all back right here.
29 years of age and just getting better.
Got a feel for Langston. This is just unbelievable. Who would have thought?
You saw the Kawasaki workers down on the track This would mean a Kawasaki 250-125 sweep this year. There's Langston's bike. Idle. Let's go back to Davey.
Right there you see Langston's girlfriend Samantha beside him, his manager Bob Moore. This is a picture, guys, looks so familiar. It's what we saw at the Houston Supercross when Grant fell down the last time. This time the pain, the bad luck is so much worse. This time it cost him a national championship.
I know he's probably not thinking about it right now, but he did everything he could do, David.
He did. You know, you look at the year he had, both he and Brown. I mean, you know, these guys both worked so hard for it. They battled each other. This takes me back to 1982. Rick Johnson had the championship in the bag. Denver, Colorado, he did a huge jump, broke a wheel, lost the title. And he sat there and cried. I mean, it was terrible. But you know what? Grant's 19. 10 years younger than Mike Brown, and he's going to have his chances. And he won't make that mistake again. Neither will KTM.
Here's Ricky Carmichael, our leader. Now Ricky doesn't have to slow down at all.
Question is, what's going to happen behind him?
Carmichael will not take the overall victory unless somebody passes Brown.
Watch this, clears this whole plateau, taps the brake just to get that nose down. See Ricky looking over to see what's going on behind him, because now it really does matter whether he's going to get this win or not, which can break that tie with Barnett.
You know, looking back, David, win or lose, Langston has vaulted KTM into championship contention in the American scene. As Ricky Carmichael is taking a look at the white flag, final lap coming up.
Way he wheelied up that hill, it looked like it was the last lap. He's got such a lead, he can take it easy. He had a good time today, no doubt. People have their opinions on whether he should have done it or not. Who knows what's going to happen. I'm sure there'll be opinions. But Ricky earned it. He could do whatever he wants. Jeremy won the Supercross so many times he decided, I don't want to ride outdoors anymore. So, you know, these guys, once they win enough races, they can pretty much make their choices. Not everybody has to like it.
And there's the sad scene. Sel Nariata and the entire KTM crew, a lot of hard work put in all year long, but they've raised the status of KTM in the American motocross scene. There has been only one other rider to win 125 U.S. Nationals and not won a race until the 5th round of the season, and that was Jeff Emig, ironically, for Kawasaki that year. If Mike Brown stays in second place, stays upright, finishes this race.
Look at Ricky. Even on his last lap, he gets through that section better than anybody on the day, one hand. He looks happy. He doesn't know if he's going to get the overall. I don't think he thinks he's going to get it. Brown's still in second, but he's happy to win the moto, saluting the crowd. This is his last race for the year until the Motocross the Nations.
Brown's looking back. He's saying go by. Jessamine goes by. Ricky Carmichael might get that record in the last lap now.
He will. He's definitely going to get it. Brown's going to get the title. I can understand how he would. They're friends. They've been training together, riding together. Brown is so happy he just got this championship. He doesn't care about the overall. He's figuring why not do his friend a favor. But, you know, Art, 10 years from now, he may regret that.
Ricky Carmichael, number 4, on way to becoming now the all-time 125 as well as the 250 all-time motocross winner.
What a weird day. So many people letting people by. Brown's not the only guy to let somebody by today. It's been going on. We saw Fonseca do it. Other riders have been doing it. Sheik did it. Everybody gets a gift. Windham gets a gift in the 250 class. Carmichael gets a gift right there. Brown gets a gift. Langston gets nothing. Hard to believe.
Carmichael on his way to his 42nd career national victory. He passes Jeff Ward for 4th on the AMA all-time win list. Here's the checkers for Ricky Carmichael. His 26th 125 victory, the all-time record. Meanwhile, still out of the track, Mike Brown seeking his 4th win of the season. Kawasaki's 6th 125 U.S. National Motocross title, 4 of those for Pro Circuit. Number 100, Mike Brown, comes through for Mitch Payton and his crew. We've seen some great finishes here at Delmont, Pennsylvania, but this championship run, you didn't know what to expect. It kept everyone guessing until the final laps. We'll hear the words in a moment. Back in Delmont, Ricky Carmichael taking the victory lap, saying hi to the fans as the all-time 125 winningest rider. Winning a championship takes everything and everyone working together. A broken wheel leads to a broken heart. While a guy from NASCAR country, donuts in the Chevy Trucks logo. Mike Brown, champion 2001. Here's how the race ended up. Carmichael, Jessamine, Brown, Fonseca, and Ramsey the top 5. With Ivan Tedesco rounding out the top 10. Davey making his way now to the victory podium, where friends, factory crew members, and fans gather around the champ.
Hey, Mike, that's it. In the end, Mike, you got the last break.
Yeah, I can't believe it. You know, God was looking over me. I know it's bad luck for Grant, but I just did as hard as I could, and, you know, something happened to his bike, and it's my luck this race.
Did you have any idea it would play out that way? Obviously, you came up through the pack as hard as you could after the early fall with Nick Way.
Yeah, I know. I thought it was over, you know. I just want to try my hardest, go out racing the best I could, you know, and it paid off.
I know this has got to be the best feeling in the world. You're 28 years old. You've been working for this your whole life. How's it feel, man?
Awesome. I just wish my mom and dad could be here to see me.
Hey, let Grant through.
Hey, Mike. Guys, there it is. Down here in the winner's circle, Grant Langston came over. Give Mike Brown a heads up on a job well done. What an unbelievable turn of events.
2 of the 3 greens come through. Ricky Carmichael takes the overall. Mike Brown second. Brandon Jessamine on the podium. Let's go right back now to Davey.
Well, Ricky, first of all, congratulations. You got your record.
Yeah, I did. I tell you, Davey, it feels so awesome. It sunk in there when I took the victory lap. It's been a while since I've done one of those. You know, I just kind of been going and doing my interview and not doing anything. And, you know, I was watching Brownie and Langston, and I said there's a lot of congestion back there. There's a lot of guys, and I knew Mike needed to pass him. And he's been working his butt off the last 2 weeks, and that sucker got it. And I got to thank Chevy Trucks, Kawasaki, and Pro Circuit, Mitch Payton, for building me an awesome bike this weekend and giving me the opportunity to do this, as well as my mechanic, Chad Watts. Got to thank my trainer, Eldon Baker. And we had a hell of a year, you know, with the Supercross title and the outdoor title, and as well as this record. I doubt I'll ever have a year like this, so I'm going to cherish it till I can't cherish it anymore. And I got to thank Scott Taylor from Fox, Johnny O as a friend, and Oakley, DC. Shoot, man, I mean, just everybody. Thank you.
Like I tell you, a footnote to the whole thing. A lot of people thought that you might pull over and help Brown here today. In the end, Mike Brown pulled over and helped you. He backed up to third, got you that record on his way to the championship.
Yeah, he did. He hooked me up today. He was one of the fastest guys on the track, and you know, with the way the points went, I still believe whoever won today should be the champion. And I tell you, I ran that guy into the ground the last 2 weeks. We ran ourselves into the ground trying to win titles and records and what have you. And I'm glad to see it pay off for him, definitely.
Checking out the Suzuki 125 final point standings. Brown the champion, Langston the runner-up, Fonseca moving all the way from 5th to 3rd, and Larry Ward, a one-time winner on the season, picking off the top privateer honors. A fantastic season that was ending in tears for both contenders. Mike Brown the champion, Grant Langston the highest finish ever for a rider from outside the United States in the American National 125 Motocross Series. One of the most competitive 125 seasons of all time. Getting set now, the 250s for the final moto of their season. The adrenaline is still running high for the record crowd here at Delmont, Pennsylvania after that championship run for the 125 motocross title. There's several riders, 40 to be exact, that still have a race to run, the 250s. And you can believe they're very serious about it, especially number 14, flanked by Mike LaRocco and Tim Ferry. That's Kevin Windham, who would love to sweep it and go away with a victory, but can he? We're off and running. The final moto of 2001. That's John Dowd, number 16, and Kevin Windham with another great start right in the center of things. That's just exactly what the Suzuki rider wanted.
When you consider how many times the four-strokes have gotten hole shots this year and that Kevin has been able to get the starts he has, his starts are amazing. He's got that thing nailed. You could see right away over the gate, he got out ahead. His reaction time, his delivery of power, and they got that Suzuki running good. Kevin isn't light. Lusk just going by. He gets a much better start this time.
Over the years, number 14, Kevin Windham, his terrific talent and technique on the track has been a double-edged sword, really, because if he didn't win, people were down on him right away. A lot of them felt that he wasn't living up to their expectations or maybe even his own. I think he pulled himself over a mental slump, David.
He has. And I'm really impressed with the way he has charged through the outdoor season. Of course, Carmichael, even in his own words, can't believe the season he's had. Look at the great start by LaRocco this time.
Yes.
A shot at the overall, no doubt. But Kevin is a great indoor rider. He's a rider that even McGrath says he may be the most talented rider out there. And he can ride the outdoors well. So this guy is getting closer to having the kind of dominance that Jeremy and Carmichael have had.
In second place, Mike LaRocco. And then David Vuillemin is right on his tail.
See Windham just right out of the center of the pack. Has the inside on John Dowd right there. Controls the corner for a great hole shot. And the way he rode the first moto, I'd be inclined to think that no one's going to touch him this time. But LaRocco, you never know. The last moto of the year, he's getting more used to that four-stroke. He's got a good power advantage. That bike hooks up well on these off cambers, and he may be able to do something with Kevin, or at least keep the pressure on.
A couple of Husqvarnas with very good starts there at the beginning. Number 40, Travis Preston. There he is right there. And Steve Lamson, also number 6, got a good start. There's Lammy. So the end of the first lap, signified by the green flag in the field summary. You can read it as well as I can. Tim Ferry in 4th. And Preston rounding out that top 5. Clark Stiles, the privateer, with another decent start here in the early going. In that field summary, you just pick out your favorite rider, see where he is. Some of them future stars, others like Stephane Roncada, who's been around for quite a while. 125 champion. Have a problem with the start here at Delmont in the second moto.
See the gap right there, a lot closer than it was the last moto. LaRocco much closer to Kevin this time, starting the second lap here. If he can stay this close, he's got a shot at the overall. Because we all know how strong LaRocco is down the stretch. If Kevin can't finish the race as fast as LaRocco can, we may see a battle down to the wire.
Our Suzuki trivia question. Name the 4 different riders who have won a national here at Delmont on a Suzuki. The answer coming up next. The answer to our Suzuki trivia question. Name the 4 different riders winning a national at Delmont on a Suzuki. First of all, in the 250s, Greg Albertine. Then 3 in the 125s, Travis Pastrana, Robbie Raynard, and Guy Cooper. Back to the action here with the 250s, the final moto of the year. Tim Ferry, once again, is giving chase to Mike LaRocco. This has been a day-long battle in the 250s.
And this actually could be good for Kevin, because while these guys concern themselves with each other, now they ride a little bit more defensive, and it lets Kevin maybe just pull away if he can continue to ride the way he did the first moto. And these guys are really in a battle for, okay, well, who's the best on a 4-stroke?
LaRocco, a former 250 and 500 champion, rode the CRF450R 4-stroke first at Millville. Took a 4th place in his very first race.
And he told me after that race he was sore. He never gets sore. And he said he just had the thing set up a little bit too soft in the front. Now that he knows that, the compression, when it slows down, you get that compression, and that actually made the front end dive a little bit more. He already runs his bike a little bit like a stink bug, as McGrath would say. So he corrected that problem, and he's still getting used to the way that it runs.
Ferry, 4 podiums out of 5 races. And in that lone race, after a cracked radiator in the opening moto, he went flag to flag to win the second moto. So he's having an excellent end to this season.
Well, if he can't get around a LaRocco, it won't be an excellent end in his mind. He's got to beat LaRocco. If you've been the guy out there riding a 4-stroke, doing the best on it, another guy just hops on one and rides the last few races and beats you, that's going to bother you.
Choosing the right line. Ferry got some power up that hill. And Mike LaRocco takes it back again. Back and forth we go at Delmont with 4-stroke action. Here comes Ferry, bar to bar they go. And look at LaRocco. Great cut.
Ferry guessed that perfect. He's like, okay, what are his options? I know he's going to try to cut back underneath me, so covered it perfect. LaRocco doesn't give up, though. He doesn't get tired. He doesn't lose faith. All he can do now is study the lines of Ferry, figure out, okay, well, why is this guy all over me? Got to learn a little bit. If he can learn that and stay close, should be able to get him back. But Ferry's already starting to pull away.
Tim Ferry has had a very interesting career, up and down like a yo-yo, really. Going to the privateer ranks several times before being picked up again by factories. He won the 125E Supercross title without a victory, but a lot of second places, and then he lost his factory job.
That was the whole 125 rule deal, and he just got caught in a bad place. And when he won that championship, he beat Carmichael. So, you know, he didn't win a race, but he knew how to win a title. That was a valuable look at the way that Kevin just cuts over that berm. He doesn't like the berm. If you get into the berm, it looks good for a moment, but then it gets all rough coming out. Kevin's got enough of a lead now. He can just make his own lines out there.
There you see the field summary. Davey?
Well, Kevin started on second moto, same way he ended the first, out front and in control.
Yeah, he's riding good, but Ferry's coming on strong. You know, he's running about a half a second a lap faster right now, but we'll see what we can do.
I know Kevin likes this track, but does he like it dry or tacky? Because it's starting to dry out.
Yeah, it's getting hard and slick, and that's a little bit advantage for the 4-strokes, but he'll do the best he can.
I think Windham is, you know, maybe those guys have an advantage because of the bike, but Kevin's got that great throttle control on the hard pack. You've got great throttle control everywhere, but remember, every time we get to a hard, slick track like Dallas, New Orleans a couple of times when it was hard packed, Kevin likes these hard, slick conditions as well, and I'm not worried about him losing time to Ferry. He's got the talent to hold him off.
Windham, Ferry, LaRocco, those three you would expect out top. Look at Steve Lamson on a 250, breaking the top 5 here in the second moto. More action coming up. Welcome back to Delmont, Pennsylvania. Art Ekman, David Bailey, and Davey Coombs bringing you the action. Kevin Windham, after winning the first 250 moto, is out in front and dominating here in the second. The real battle has been between the 4-strokes of number 15, Tim Ferry, and number 5, Mike LaRocco. As I said earlier, my leading candidate for most improved rider is Tim Ferry. We talked with him earlier.
I mean, if I give myself a grade, I'd say an A. I mean, just because I've improved so much from last year. You know, I may not be winning every weekend, but from, you know, where I was finishing last year to this year is a big jump. You know, it's probably 5 spots or so. And I'm on the podium every weekend, and before I was hardly making the podium at all. So definitely it's been a big improvement. It's been a great year for me.
Definitely been a step closer to where he'd like to be next season in the Supercross. Ever since Salt Lake, this guy's been riding so well. A lot more confident. He expects to be up front. He's not up front kind of being surprised or riding a little nervous. And LaRocco's just getting a lesson right now, following Ferry around, figuring he's been the most successful guy in a 4-stroke. That's what LaRocco's trying to learn right now. He's learning from the best guy.
Meanwhile, our leader, Kevin Windham. There was a point this season, David, that he seemed like the harder he tried, the worse it got. But a lot of hours of sweat, rearranging his training, and the mental aspects of his life have really led to an outstanding season. And his win at Washougal was really the turnaround.
He's had a few different races. I mean, I look back to Redbud and think, man, what a fine performance there. Of course, then Washougal, even more confidence. And then, you know, he's just been overshadowed by the incredible season that Ricky Carmichael had. And Kevin's looked at that as a plus, because that will force him to really work hard in this offseason to come into next season and be a contender in Supercross.
6 podiums, 10 top 5 finishes in 11 races. Roncada restarting after going down. He had some tough luck in that first moto, but came all the way back for a 4th place finish. But he's having his problems right now. Mike LaRocco, number 5. Dan Bentley's been working with Mike over the last few weeks on this new 4-stroke. He's the subject of our Honda profile, and we asked him when he worked with Jeff Stanton, what was his most memorable title?
92 Supercross. Going into the last race was pretty much, maybe didn't go into it very optimistically. We thought it was kind of done. Jeff and I both, I believe. Maybe Jeff not so much. I know Jeff had a lot of motivation and desire to win that last race also. But we didn't think that Bradshaw would have, we thought at worst Bradshaw would have been able to pull off a 3rd place and still he would have gave him the championship. Never imagined it would have turned out the way it did. Just, I remember standing there on the track just thinking to myself, this can't be happening, this can't be happening. Things just worked out. The stars were in all perfect alignment and everything was, you know, was happening for us, and it was a great experience. Probably the most memorable championship I was able to win and be a part of.
Dan's been through a lot of transitions at Honda, from Stanton to McGrath and not having McGrath and having problems winning, but trying to come back next year with Ricky Carmichael.
Well, it looks like Honda's tried to put together some pretty good teams since the Jeremy McGrath days, and they just haven't been able to put together a championship, not one. But they must feel pretty good about having Carmichael on the team next year, Fonseca. You still have Tortelli, who's due, it seems like, at least outdoors. Also Ramsey, so, you know, Dan may get to see one of those down-to-the-wire titles in the years to come.
934, Team Yamaha's David Vuillemin, a 5th in the first moto. He's gunning for a 4th right now, while Kevin Windham looks for his 2nd win. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Delmont, Pennsylvania, here in the 252nd Moto. A little anticlimactic for the fans maybe, but not for Kevin Windham, who has just dominated both motos. I say anticlimactic because we had such an exciting, unusual finish to the 125 motocross season. Mike Brown upsetting Grant Langston. He came into the event 9 points behind Langston and was able to get a victory. Langston's rear wheel, for those of you who turned in late, went away, disintegrated. And Brownie just got enough points to take that championship, being at the right place at the right time with the right talent and crew. But I think Kevin Windham is showing us something for the future. He is actually stating to us, I am back, look out. Number 14 is going to be a contender. Let's take a look back now at the 2001 AMA Chevy Truck National Motocross season. Returning to the action, Kevin Windham just dominating, doing everything right, looking smooth as ice. Looking for his 2nd victory this year. And overall, as far as the 250 motocross team is concerned, he's looking for his 6th career victory.
Moving up the ladder on the win list. And I really believe that the way he rode this outdoor season, combined with the fact that he is a great Supercross rider, possibly better indoors, next year it could be really good for Kevin. He's had a year to adapt to the new surroundings at Suzuki. He adapts quick.
And at a time where the Suzuki 250 program has really been inspired by Roger DeCoster and the crew as far as research and development is concerned. Here comes Kevin Windham.
Sportsmanship by these guys.
Kevin Windham, Tim Ferry, Mike LaRocco, Vuillemin, and John Dowd moves up to the top 5, and a good finish for Steve Lamson. It's time now for Davey Coombs.
Well, Kevin, great way to end the season. You led virtually every lap, maybe even every inch of both motos here at Steel City.
Yeah, it felt great. You know, I'd like to thank all my sponsors for getting me through a mediocre season. Hopefully we can come back and make it stronger next year. But Suzuki, 1-800 Collect, No Fear, Alpine Star Boots, Arai Helmet, Scott Goggles, Cornwall Tools, you know, everybody. They just really been behind me a lot. My webpage, kevinwindham.com, and just everybody. You know, it takes a lot to get through a season, and, you know, we didn't do too bad.
Toward the end of the moto, once again, it looked like Tim Ferry started to come up on you. Was that from just riding by yourself, just kind of falling to a pace?
Well, he was definitely going fast for me that second moto, and, you know, I was trying to hang it out, trying to get through lappers good. The track's really slick out there right now. It's got a lot of small breakers and a lot of deep ruts, you know, from where it was muddier earlier this morning. And it's difficult to go fast out there, and he was doing a good job of it. And I guess he may have fell or something halfway through, and it kind of gave me a little more breathing room. But I was doing all I could. You know, he was riding a great race today.
Kevin, congratulations on winning the last race of the season.
Thanks a lot.
Checking out the overall situation now, of course, Kevin Windham, the winner. Ferry LaRocco rounding out the podium. Top privateer John Dowd, and look at the finish by Steve Lamson. Very fine 6th place in his only 250 motocross race of the year. The history books will read that Ricky Carmichael won the 250 crowd over Kevin Windham by 8 final points. However, it's a little deceiving since Ricky Carmichael ran in the 125 race, winning that one here at Delmont to become the all-time 125 motocross winningest rider. It was in that race that a broken wheel on number 111 shredded the dreams of Grant Langston. Davey Coombs has caught up with him.
Grant, I know you have to be devastated right now. What happened?
I mean, I didn't get the greatest of starts, but I got, you know, into third, and I was riding a little tight. And then I relaxed a little and got around Barney first, and I was in second. And then, you know, all of a sudden, I just landed a little bit hard off the one jump, and I could feel there was something wrong in the rear of the bike. And then the following lap, it got worse. And then the following lap, the bike really just, the whole back wheel just deteriorated. And I tried to carry on, but I just couldn't because, you know, I think there was like about 15 broken spokes or something, and the wheel was, you know, basically collapsed. And gave all I had this year, and, you know, it's just unfortunate that's how it ends, but, you know, that's racing.
I know at the beginning of the season you were in complete control, then you broke your collarbone, your whole shoulder, in fact. It had to have been tough to lose it on a note like that, having gotten back to the front.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it was a real roller coaster year. Things started off well, and then with the injury on my shoulder, when, you know, it seemed like the year was over, and then I came back and started getting some better results, and then I was back in the championship again, and then I took the lead, and, you know, everything seemed fine. I mean, that race, I was in second, and, you know, I just thought, you know, just don't crash, and it's yours, and all of a sudden just to see that rear wheel just collapse with me was a real difficult, you know, emotionally, and after, like, basically I thought the championship was done, and then all of a sudden it just, you know, in one lap it just, everything went wrong.
Well, Grant, to full credit, I did see you go over and congratulate Mike Brown. That showed that you are a true champion.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he won, and he must be really excited, and, you know, obviously I would love that to have been me, but, you know, he won, and he was a guy who was there every race this year, and, you know, possibly he had a little bit of luck, but, you know, he won, and it's difficult to congratulate someone, you know, when you know, because I honestly felt like that the championship was mine, but, you know, he won it, end of the day.
Mike Brown has proved to be a champion here in the 125 ranks in such a tight battle with Grant Langston. Langston has proved mature beyond his years, even in the face of controversy. He says the right things, and he means them. With both these young men, if you mess with them, you can expect to get messed with back.
Great racing between those two, and respect sets up a great rivalry for next year, and they'll be joined by the newest phenom, James Stewart.
For David Bailey and Davey Combs, thank you so much for being with us for another outstanding season of AMA Chevy Trucks National Championship Motocross. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.